Hello, everyone. How are you all doing? This is your host Elias here with another preview episode of Step Up Spurs. Where we will be discussing the upcoming weekend fixture of Brentford, and I'm joined by a very special guest from Tottenham away. And he's none other than JP. How are you doing, JP?
Yay, not too bad, man. How you doing? You right?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Uh, just had a long day. And now doing some of my favorite stuff, interacting with the Spurs community here on YouTube.
No, it's
And
nice, isn't it?
yeah, that's like the
Work's
escapism
work's
for
finished. Work's
works
finished for
finished.
the week. Football starts now.
Football starts now. Yeah, man. How was your week, man?
Yeah, work, and obviously a lot of kind of like we do a show on Monday, and there's a hell of a lot of shows we've got on our channel this week. So it's good to catch up with everyone.
Yeah, man. And yeah, I think you're like the except now I think I just realized except Stel, everybody has made an appearance on Step Up Spurs. All the co-hosts of Tottenham
Tottenham
Away have
away.
joined. Yeah,
Cool,
man.
cool.
Tottenham Away. All the as Will puts it, the four dawns of Tottenham Away.
No, yeah, no, it's going well with us. We seem to be kind of like, obviously, we were at a good number. Some stuff happened, but it's picking back up now. So,
Yeah, it's
you
doing
know,
going
we
well.
have we have a good channel. We speak the truth, and sometimes it hurts.
Yep, it's okay. Even I say sometimes things here that really hurt people, but yeah, I don't care. So feel free to hurt people as time as supposed to, as you do it at Tottenham away. That's one thing I love about inviting the guys from Tottenham away. They are not afraid to hurt people.
Not literally.
Uh, yeah, not literally, literally. Uh, but yeah, JP, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you end up getting conned into supporting Spurs? First of all,
Conned into it. I went to school there, lived there.
in Long
My
Island.
my secondary school was literally about 2 minutes walk from the ground. So from about the age of 11, 10, 11, um, from playing around on the roads, on the streets and stuff, we'd go down to the ground, and at halftime they'd let kind of like kids in. So it's literally from there, kind of got the football bug. That was my local team. Um, Actually saw us winning some cups. Good times, bad times. It's a
Oh,
bit
so
of
you did
a
see us winning some cups. Huh?
oh hell yeah, yeah.
Okay.
European UEFA.
Oh, you saw winning us European cups as well. Wow.
That's how old I am, man.
Okay. Uh, I won't ask you how many candles to get ready for your next birthday. Uh, yeah. But so you were
so
raised up in North London, I suppose.
so it's
Tottenham area.
literally about 40 years I've been
Following
going.
Spurs.
It's in my blood. It's in my nature. It's
Wow.
in my kids' blood.
40 years
That's
of
what it is.
40 years of suffering. Wow.
Well, I think kind of
Okay, okay, not
nothing's been like the last 20.
22, 23 years. Yeah. Uh, I mean, just curious, like, was football like the kind of thing in your family, or were you always enthusiastic about football from school,
Yeah,
or like
no,
how
yeah,
was it like for you
hun-
in terms of your
hun-
football?
100%. It was literally probably had a ball at my feet, kind of like all the time. So from playing at school, once the um, whistle went at the end of the day for school, it would just be come home, throw your bags in the corner, run out to. We had a nice little park outside our place where all our friends used to hang out, and it'd be football. That
Wow,
was it.
North
Fo-
London.
Football, football, football. But then
Wow.
kind of I mean, thinking about some of the players back then, it was obviously when There was like Steve Archibald used to play, Mark Falco, Glenn Hoddle. So it was that kind of era and that kind of time really that Spurs posters on my wall, everything. So
Nice. I would love to see that wall of yours. All the Spurs pictures. I guess that's only when you're single you can have all the Spurs pictures. After the wedding, you
well,
only
and
have to
being
have one big wedding picture, and then the picture of your kids take the place there. You can no longer have Glenn Hoddle there, I suppose.
Mm. Well, yeah, yeah, exactly. In the background, yeah, there's no. I kind of like, mind you, I suppose, kind of. I think the only pictures I probably would have had up would probably be like Glenn Hoddle, because he was probably one of my favourite players, and Gascoigne kind of as well, kind of like going through his era. Unbelievable things, he'd literally be a person who would make you sit off your seat or stand up, like from your seat.
Yep. By the way, there's a question for you here. Minerals is asking. I think you know what kind of answer he's trying to expect. If you were not supporting Spurs, who would you have supported? I guess North
Barnet,
London,
Barnet,
Barney. Oh, okay.
Barnet, or
Barney. What
Haringey.
club is that? I don't even know what club is that.
Barnet. It's like a local area in
Is
like
it like
North London.
Barnes? Oh, that club with
B
the
A
with the knight
B
with that knight logo.
Barnet.
Oh, Barnate, not Nes,
Barnet.
right?
Barnet. It
Oh,
won't
okay.
be
The
it
one.
won't be Arsenal, bro.
It won't be Arsenal. Minerals is not Arsenal. Don't worry. Don't get too excited. So Barney's, I think, is it a London club as well? Never heard of it, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's in North London.
Is it not London? Is it in League One at the moment, or fifth year of football? Wow, 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 wow. Good. I
Or
guess I guess
there's
it's more like your boyhood club, youth club, something like that. I suppose like you had friends there or something.
Yeah, it's probably just like the next like club along.
I see.
As
Get it.
obviously
Get it.
they originated from the south and came over, so
Yep. Like our friends from North London as well. They were basically from Woolwich, and then they came
Woolwich,
at,
yep, South London,
yeah,
South
yeah,
London
South
original.
London. Yeah, we are the only original North London club, I suppose, with a few others, right? But anyways,
Barnet,
uh,
Haringey.
I mean, since you are a fan who has been supporting Spurs for quite long, 40 years, and I would just like to ask you, like over the years, I think you've seen quite a lot of periods of Spurs, quite a lot of eras, quite a lot of phases. How would you
I
describe,
have a
like,
lot of
let's
tops,
yeah, you have a lot of sorry,
tops.
you have a lot
I
of
have a lot of
tops.
tops.
Yeah, you have a lot of tops. How would you describe? I guess all the tops you bought were before the Levy time. Now I think we don't even feel like buying a top, right?
Well, at the end of the day, I've always felt kind of like supporting my clubs, kind of like just as important, right? So
Yeah.
there's been times in the Levy era that I've bought tops, but I guess no more now.
Yeah, no more now. Yeah, so I was actually gonna ask, how would you describe like your journey of being a Spurs fan, like the early years, like let's say the first 10 to 20 years. I think that was like the era, I think, when you were like a youth. Probably you would have seen some European trophies, and then after that, the era like when we were like winning the FA Cups and all that. How was it like, the energy in the club, the fans, and then the Premier League came in? I guess you saw the inception of Premier League coming in, and then the
Mm.
club spent big, and it has become more like a business rather than football. Not just Spurs, but I think other clubs as well. Take us to the trip down the memory lane, please, JP.
Well, I suppose what I would say is, like, from a Tottenham perspective, it was always a style of football that we played. Like there was always a flair player. There was always a Glenn Hoddle. There was always a Mickey Hazard, a Gascoigne, a Klinsmann. Like there was always stars kind of like with us along that way. But there was always a style of football. We were probably known more for as being a cup team, like in my era. Um, we were the
Knockouts.
first. Like we used to hold the record of eight FA Cups at the time. But kind of like since then, I guess we were. It's probably like I remember we had chairmans like Irving Scholar, Alan Sugar.
Yeah,
He was, I mean, I don't know if you know the guy from like he's got a popular TV show at the moment. I mean, you must have heard of Alan Sugar, right?
yep, yep. I have
Um,
read a bit about him.
yeah. So he obviously used to be our chairman, and then obviously kind of like during the Levy era, I guess it it probably started off. Well, I mean, in hindsight, you could say it started off as it's meant to go on, right? Because we initially had so like George Graham like was our manager, and we actually won the Carling Cup kind of like with him. Um, but then he kind of wrote like almost fired. Well, like he did fire him, bring in kind of like Glenn Hoddle, and then really, I personally I think it was probably just to appease the fans, just to get everyone on like the Levy side. Look, he's brought a Tottenham man here, which at the time kind of like again, I guess the fan base was like pretty split because having an ex-Arsenal manager kind of like manage us as kind of like didn't really go down like too well, but he did actually win us something. Um, and kind of now really, I guess even towards the back end of White Hart Lane, it was kind of up and down and didn't really win anything. We had lots of injury problems, never really went for the perfect player to be able to put pieces of the jigsaw together from a footballing side. Never really kind of pushed pushed for the league, apart from kind of like when he probably struck lucky with Poch, right? Um, but in the last, well, I guess the last 6 years has literally been, kind of like football. The footballing side has probably turned into a business, and it's just been money, 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 and right now to where we are, it is literally obviously we see and we hear and we speak to some of the fans, but it's kind of almost like a cash cow, right? Like we're the customer now. It's like the focus on the football team um is kind of like gone astray. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's been a mad road and a mad trip, but unfortunately Tottenham and football and Spurs is kind of in my blood and in my veins. And I think one of the things I dislike about Daniel Levy, I think he's hooked into that for a hell of a lot of fans because he knows, you know, kind of
Divide and conquer.
people love the club, people love the club, people follow the club, and it's just kind of like using that in a way which didn't go down well.
Yeah. I guess now I would come back to ask you a couple of questions. I think you would have gone to the old White Hart Lane as well. I guess
Mm,
the even older White Hart Lane, I would say, the one before the renovations, and I think you would have seen the traditional days of football. And now I think just 2 weeks ago you were at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium doing that tour, that video you were showing us around the facilities and all that. And just curious actually about that, like how do you feel like being a youth who used to be in White Hart Lane in the slightly more traditional atmosphere, slightly more energetic. I don't know whether it was energetic or not because I've never been to the stadium
mm.
before, but slightly more of a lively place which feels more like a community rather than a corporate organization. And now walking into Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, which looks like, yeah, you're going into like an airport or a shopping mall. What are general sentiments over that particular thing?
I
Having
think
something like White Hart Lane and then having something like Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
I think the biggest difference is probably the atmosphere, the kind of like feeling that you get around there, like going to the old ground. It was, you felt you were going to a game of football. You could smell the burgers. You'd, like you'd have to kind of like some things have obviously kind of like improved in terms of, I mean, kind of like the level of the beer and the taste of the beer and you know the variety of foods that you get like in the ground now, but the old atmosphere and the old feeling of going to an actual football game, like that's like totally gone now. It's it almost just feels you're, I don't know, turning up for a show or something like that. Whereas everyone was quite bubbly about football, laughy, jokey. It was quite a happy atmosphere and a
Like
happy
you can even bring
environment.
your home cooked food inside, I suppose, was it? Yeah,
Didn't matter,
that
kind of like
yeah,
things like
that
that
sort of
didn't matter. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, that whole kind of atmosphere has totally changed, and like that's a big thing about going to football, isn't it? It's kind of like the atmosphere and the people that you stand next to or sit next to, and kind of like some of that banter that you have. Um, but everyone kind of went there as a Spurs fan, wanting to see Spurs win, play well, and win, right?
yep.
Kind of like whereas now it's probably a little bit more corporate and a little bit more subdued. Um, and depending where you go in the grounds, it's really, really quiet.
Yeah, I see. Like you have South Stand, which is different, which is kind of different. Then your West Stand, their fans are slightly more different type of fans. I guess that divide is there.
But it's also like I would also say it may have something to do with the costs as well, right? Because suddenly season tickets, or at least even if you kind of discard season tickets, which are quite pricey, the cost of a football ticket now is something like what, 60, 70, 80 pounds just for one ticket for the day. Whereas before you'd get a lot of local people, maybe a lot more working class people who actually went. Whereas it's kind of priced out a little bit now, I feel, because if you happen to take kind of like a couple of kids and yourself to go football now, it's literally going to cost you what, a couple of £100.
Yeah, definitely. And which makes sense. Like let's say the football now for those to watch is, yeah, even for being a fan you have to pay like a price. It's no longer as accessible. Like your passion doesn't have that worth anymore. I suppose it's more about how much you can pay to go in there.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
it's kind of like, especially where it's more of a kind of like a corporate environment now. It's like, you get kind of like not necessarily business parties, but people entertaining kind of like their clients and things like that. And it's more about the wow factor of being at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as opposed to going to Spurs to watch football.
Yeah. And I guess that does it really like had a bit of a pinch on your heart, like I would rather have that old White Hart Lane or the stadium, I guess
I
that
would
that
I would rather have the old stadium any day. Kind of like, as I said, while it's nice and new and shiny, and yes, you've got literally lots of places to get a drink inside the stadium, as you saw. There's lots of food avenues again,
was that
like
famous
as you
chicken
saw.
outlet, Chicken Crisp, is it?
What like outside?
Yeah, no, inside the stadium there's one, the famous outlet.
Like, I don't even know what it's called, to be honest, because like, I don't eat in there. Um,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've never been to the stadium as well, and I mean, for us, I think for us, the next generation or the new generation of Spurs fans, I think we are kind of like sold that idea that, yeah, the corporate stadium and that whole thing. But it's important something for me or for any younger fan to kind of like know that, yes, whether all the glitters are gold or are they not. Because sometimes for us, like, yeah, we go to the stadium, we may enjoy all the skywalk and that whole thing, but then it's important for us to realize and have these kind of conversations as well with fans like you, with fans like Stel, with fans like Iggy, who have been to that old White Hart Lane and to the new one, and to see, like, yeah, what really looks beautiful is may not be actually beautiful, because the real beauty of the club lies in its success and its trophies and the glory and the honor that and the prestige that it brings. And I'm glad that we could talk a little bit about that. But I want to go now into the recent club news now, and what has happened over this year. What do you think? What do you make of this season? Three managers sacked. Sorry, three managers throughout one particular
mm,
season. Uh, One footballing director gone. And this is just the men's team side. Then you have a ladies side. One manager
no
sacked.
manager.
no manager there as well. Again, no academy director in Spurs. What do you make of this year? Being a Spurs fan, uh, do you think over the years this has been like the worst possible year, looking at this kind of scenario, or the worst possible scenario that ENIC is facing at the moment?
It's definitely the worst scenario that ENIC are facing. I mean, kind of going back in the day, there were times with Irving Scholar and stuff, and we were literally kind of like on the verge of kind of like maybe kind of like going down and having, like from a financial point of view, it kind of like really wasn't great. But in ENIC's era, I would say this is probably the worst time that they've had. And to be fair, I think kind of like looking at the way our season started, because it ended on a high last year. Um,
Yep,
you know,
we kind of ended
ended
on a
on a
high,
high, got top
started on a
four. We
high.
had Conte. I think expectations were that we were going to kick on from here. We started buying players early, which is again is something that we've never done. Like it started off with Perisic and like thinking, okay, well, there's a bit of quality coming in there. There's a bit of guidance and kind of almost a father figure for Cess, so he'll start to grow as well. Basuma came in, so I think it was quite buoyant, right? Like the start of it, but literally, like with not getting proper backing, it's just kind of started off there and just kind of like almost gone downhill, right? It's like literally panned into right now, kind of looking at a form, it's almost like relegation form.
Exactly. I mean, with the kind of manager you have, and another question I'd like to ask you: do you think we would have been at this point of the season if Antonio Conte would have been around? Do you think we would have gone to this bad? Like, let's say you describe it as a relegation form. Maybe form is not something that the manager can control, but maybe to a certain extent, the football that we play and all that. Do you think if he would have been in charge, we would have been at battling for the seventh, eighth spot, or do you think we could have done something
Pers-
better?
Personally, no. I think if he was there, I don't think we would be where we are. I think from my perspective, while I know the style of football wasn't great, and I think at the time of him still being with us, I think that was probably the biggest voice from a lot of fans, right? It's boring, it's not great to watch, it's not this,
As
it's not
usual.
that. But do you know what? We're fourth, right? And I think not even necessarily with hindsight, just kind of like with knowledge. It was literally the fact that I would say Conte knew what he had in our defense. So there's no way you could play offensive or play open, right? And knowing what we had in our defense, and we were still conceding goals and still pretty crap at the back with stupid mistakes by players that, yeah, we can name. Um, but even with that, he kind of kept us in fourth place, right?
Yep.
Suddenly bringing, and obviously the reasons for him going, he literally was probably at a breaking point, and I felt that it was like, that's it now. Like I can't say anymore. I can't hold it back anymore. These players are right. They
Yep.
are. I can't deal with them anymore. Like purely the fact
Exactly.
that I've asked for player X, and you've gone out and brought me Longley on loan.
Exactly.
Yeah, like if we were to invest, and I understand that there was talk about our Bastoni not wanting to come because he wanted to stay at Inter or something like that, but to that level of player, we must have had three or four choices, right? Or like three or four
Exactly.
targets as
You
opposed to
you
just
always need
one,
a
right?
plan B or plan
So
C.
you knew his focus really wanted to be on that defense, and we really didn't back him in that area or solidify that in any way, except for going out and getting a stopgap,
Yep.
right? And you go, what is the point of that? It's someone who's not invested in here. He doesn't want to, probably doesn't want to be here to start with. Came along because he was getting football, right? And I'll play for Antonio Conte. We'll, like kind of like see what happens. But literally, it's been the fact that I think if he was still there the football would have still been the same, but I don't think we would be where we are right now.
Yeah, I think football, like that's what I mean. Sometimes I try to explain to this dumb fan base. It doesn't matter whether you play attractive football or not. What matters, I think, the most in this sport is that yes, you're winning. You are putting the points up on the table when you're playing league football. Definitely, maybe knockout a different story because yes, you need to
Mhm.
score goals and you need to win on the aggregate and all that. It really makes sense. But in league football, it's your points that really matters. And in a way, I mean, I think Antonio Conte is the kind of manager. He is more of a league football type of manager. I think his knockout has not been that impressive
Mm.
over the past years as well. But in league, he's been doing well, and I think that's one thing that I feel a bit of a pinch as well of is that uh, as a league manager, he could have done with us really well if given like proper weapons and proper tools, but he just didn't have that. Like Bastoni and that Langley example is one. I think the other one was he was trying to push for Skriniar as well. He didn't get it. He tried
Well,
to,
Jose wanted him, right? And you
yeah,
go,
he also
like
didn't get it.
You got Joe Rodon.
The road on, yeah, and that's the mistake that we always tend to repeat. And I would like it's just unexplainable. But by the way, there's a particular question I think somebody's asking: what you want Spurs to be going into next season, like the style of play or player development or result oriented first and foremost with now manager. What do you think about that, JP?
Um, I want all of that.
You're being greedy.
No, as a fan, that's kind of like that's what you want,
I
right?
guess the question is
And
more about the
and
priorities. Yeah.
your club need to have a plan and a vision to kind of like deliver that. At the end of the day, right now where we are, it literally is ripping up everything and
Yep,
resetting and
exactly.
rebooting and kind of like starting another 5-year plan, kind of like with us, right? So literally, it needs the foundations laid to start with. So yes, we need a stable director of football, but even with that, like you kind of almost want the leader, the person who's running the company to have that North Star direction and that lit- literal vision of in 5 years' time, I want to do this, right?
Yep.
Then I'll go and get a director of football that's going to help me do that. Then I'm going to pick a manager to help me do that's going to do that. Then I'm going to get the players that are going to fit that manager system or fit the director of football system to be able to deliver that goal, right? And literally all of that needs to be put in place. And it's starting again from scratch. So I don't expect us to go and win anything in the next 4 or 5 years, but what I expect is a plan to be put in place, the foundations to be laid down, and at least some of the players brought in to fit that jigsaw.
Yep. I guess the jigsaw needs to be filled as well because at the moment the jigsaw may look totally different once your manager gets changed. The jigsaw pieces need to be readjusted in many ways because the system might completely change. And yeah, I guess we don't want to win now, manager. What do you think?
Well, we've had that.
Yeah,
You,
I think.
I would love a win now manager if we backed him.
Yep,
Which is why at the end of the day you go like from my perspective, it's like I want Daniel Levy out because he's had his chance. He's had 22 years, right, to be able to cement something for the football of this club. He's tried Harry Redknapp, he's tried Martin Yeo, he's tried Jack Santini, he's tried he
Poch.
like he obviously got Poch in, decided that Poch wasn't going heading in the right direction, or at least I feel when he got to Poch, he literally felt we've got the players, we don't have the manager. Let me bring in Mourinho now. Mourinho will be the one who will get these players over the line. But literally, Mourinho is a win now manager. But if you
Yep.
don't if you don't back him,
Yeah.
you're
What
not
are
going to
you
go
gonna do?
anywhere. Okay, let's go back to a project. Let's go and get Nuno in. Oh crap, that's not working. Right, let's go back to a win now manager. But I would like a win now manager, and I'd like him to get backed because right now I think that's the only thing Tottenham are missing and starved of is the success on the pitch. You could say, oh, we've got a great big, fantastic development stadium, um, for like the actual academy. We've got a fantastic stadium. Oh, we even had a fantastic manager in place. But if you don't have those tools and if you don't have the players to achieve that, that's the only thing that's missing. And if Mr. Levy wants to scrimp and scrape on managers or and scrimp and scrape on players, then what's the point of him being there? You've like everyone knows you've got to like invest to like win, right? It's in any business.
Yep, exactly.
You
Yeah,
speculate and you get.
I and continuing on from that conversation, JP, I think recently we are linked with quite a lot of managers lately. Some have turned us down. Some the news is coming around that yes, they are now our favorites and all that. Like recently, I think the Arne Slot one is like the in news because recently he won the title as well in Eredivisie, and now he is linked with us. Uh, then a couple of days ago, it was Jebi Alonso who was linked with us, and then recently he denied the rumors that no, he is not coming to us. He is completely focused on the Leverkusen project, and now, right now, I think the rumors that I've been hearing is like it's either Enrique, it's either Arne Slot, or the third name
I,
was
it's
that Frankfurt manager. In
Frankfurt manager.
among what's his name? I need to check that guy's name. Frankfurt's
Oh, I
football
know.
man
Oh, yeah,
because he
yeah, yeah.
recently his name is something to do with Solskjaer.
I mean,
Yeah,
manager names aside, like at the end of the day, I think the first name that needs to come in. Wait, what's up, Tom? I think the first name that needs to come in is the director of football, right?
exactly.
So
Yep.
names for managers can, and it even annoys me now. I see, oh, like we're in for this player, or we're strongly linked with this player, and it's like, what is the point if we don't have a manager?
Yep.
Again, we're going to go Levy style and buy players, and the manager will come in and go, I don't want him.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is another thing that annoys me. Like right now,
Waste money.
we are linked with the players when we don't even have a football director. We don't even have a manager. Why are we linked with players at the moment? Like we are looking at extending Eric Dyer's contract. We are looking at signing Langley on a permanent deal. When they are like average player, like let's say if you're trying to secure the deal for Kulusevski, it makes sense. Eric Dyer's deal getting extended, it's kind of like the most Bullocks thing that can happen right now in this club when you don't even have a manager. The
Mm.
the other thing now I would
I
like
reckon
to
he's I reckon he's secretly Levy's son-in-law or something.
probably no, actually Eric Dyer's is a good one. Secretly could be, but apparently
Love child.
his love child was.
Oh, you're
Uh,
frozen.
yeah. Or by the way, I do you know the guy Alan Dixon, the guy who always have you heard of him? By the way, Alan Dixon. Do you know about him?
Mm, no.
The guy who is always actually behind the Spurs players, and usually the managers turn to him when making the substitutions. I recently found out he is Daniel Levy's brother-in-law, Tracy Dixon's brother. He's
Is
like the
isn't
only
he?
that bald guy, like he looks
No,
like a
no, no. I
bodyguard.
know, but isn't he a? What's his role?
He is the player relations officer, basically. So let's say when you have a new player coming in, and I think in the documentary he
Oh
can speak
yeah,
quite a
he
few
allows.
languages.
Yeah, he kind of gets them embedded into the club and makes sure they've got somewhere
Exactly.
to live and they've got the right chef
But
and
one thing I don't understand is like why always when we make a substitution, even if it's like a player who has been there, why do managers always discuss it with him? Like that kind of makes me wonder: is Daniel Levy the person behind all this who is making the
subs.
substitutions as well?
Yeah,
Like
as
is
well. I
he
mean, one thing I would say is I'm sure Conte wouldn't have that.
He wouldn't have that, but seriously, it does concern me
It just
sometimes.
it just looks like a big bodyguard, doesn't he? Like a bouncer.
Probably, probably he's the kind like he must give them that pat on the back before they go onto the pitch. But among yeah, by the way, JP, since we were talking about the manager topic, I think you said that yes, having a director of football is more important. But among the current names that we are linked, who would you rather have? Like, would you prefer Enrique? But I think Enrique, knowing you and I think the channel you're coming from, I don't think you would want Enrique because I think we all agree here. I think in the Spurs community that Enrique cannot play tiki taka with Davis, Dyer, and Sanchez. He can't play that. Uh, the other person, Arne Slot. What do you think of him?
I I if you were to say out of kind of the ones that have probably been talked about, I would say he's probably the maybe a good project starting manager. Looking at what he's done at Feyenoord, um, in terms of playing football, he's he's taken the league away from Ajax. You
Yeah.
know, there's
And by the way,
that's
Ajax next year would be in
that's
C is
no
conference. League.
that's no mean feat. You know, what he got to the semi-finals, got knocked out by Jose in
Yep.
Europe,
Yep. I think so.
um, and kind of, I think, but again, I think even when we were looking at this kind of like pre Ten Hag going to Man United, it was a case of Ten Hag would have been a kind of like a good appointment, but again, he would need to have the full say, have the backing, be allowed to go out and get the scouting of the players that he wants, as
Yep.
opposed to being given players and tasked with, can you get the best out of these?
No, we don't.
Do you know what? I don't like him, but I think I
Looks like
said the
he's
other
gonna come
day,
to Spurs.
like I said the other day on our show, there's a strong possibility that we'll end up with him, and it
Yep.
will literally be another 18-month,
Rebuild.
2-year project, and he'll come, he'll start again, he'll have a few players, start playing a little bit of pretty football, a little bit of offensive football. Everyone will get happy. Then Dyer will go off the boil again. He'll get chucked in. Oh, you've got Spence and you've got Udogi and you've got these players. Kind of like make it work. A couple of them get injured. He'll get chucked in another Joe Rodon or someone like that, and then he'll be pants, and everyone will get on his back, and then he'll go. So
Yep, exactly. I think
rinse and
that
repeat.
guy, his career is kind of like already over after I think with Leicester or what happened, and now I think if he comes to Spurs, we are totally gonna put the seal stamp on his career. It's finished.
I mean, he is a person who, like, kind of wherever he goes, he starts off quite well, and starts
Yep,
off with a bit of a style of football and a
like Roy
brand that,
Hodgson, I suppose.
and like a brand that people like. But then it tends to go sour after a little while.
Yep. I'm not a big fan of Brendan Rodgers. I mean, I think you can tell us like how do you fancy him since you are a Liverpool fan. Like in my opinion, I think towards the end of his career at Liverpool, he made some really bad choices. The kind of players he sold and the kind of players he brought in, it just didn't work in the system, in my opinion. But Ahmed, let us know what do you think about Brendan Rodgers. Some Liverpool fans actually say that yes, he kind of like set Liverpool to the stepping stones that Jurgen Klopp took them to the glory. But I want to hear from you. Uh, going back to that whole discussion that we were having. Now I think I don't know if you know about this that Arne Slot's assistant has apparently said that whether Arne Slot goes to Tottenham or not, he wouldn't want to go to Tottenham because Tottenham is in a big mess right now, and he would rather focus on Feyenoord.
Mm.
What does it say about us as a club? Like even the manager's assistant doesn't want to come to a club like Spurs. Like what have we become over one last 1 or 2
Um,
years?
it's the truth, though, right?
Yep, it is.
What's the point? Good, big up, man. It's the truth. Like, if you were to look at the way we go through managers, the levels of managers that we go through. Right now, if you were a up and coming manager or a quality manager, you'd look at it and say they've just had Mourinho, turfed him out just before a cup final, didn't back him. They've just brought Conte in, literally didn't back him after he proved with not a fantastic squad. He proved from where we were when he came in to taking us into a Champions League spot, not backing him the following season, knowing that he has silverware all over his CV. What chance have I got?
Exactly.
Um, you know, but on the flip side is you could say you would want a manager to have the kahunas to come out and think and trust in themselves to always say, "Well, I'm going to be that person that wins it there, right?" And how much could that prove of me if Conte couldn't do it, Mourinho couldn't do it, and I'm going to be that person? But with everything, he needs to have the reins, he needs the backing, and I don't see that happening, which is why I want Conte out. Which is why I want
Sorry,
Levy out.
you want Conte out? He's already
Levy
out,
out.
bro.
No, like, which is why I want Levy out.
Yeah. By the way, there was a question earlier. Somebody was asking question to both of you. Which second will haunt you most in the recent years of Spurs? Jose Mourinho before Cup final or Poch after season in UCL final? Um, I think, in my opinion, it was Conte. Neither of these two. I think Conte's sacking was the worst one. I think that's going to cost his club in a few years' time a bit more than these two sackings. What do you think, JP?
No, it has to be Poch. Purely because Poch built something. He had something there. Um, that like those couple of seasons that we had with Delhi and Ericsson and Kane spanking goals from everywhere. He was literally building something. He had like the atmosphere of the team. They all felt like a team, there was there was no real friction or anything like that. They were doing all their silly little kind of hand claps and pumps and things like that. Delhi doing his eye thing. It was all part of that camaraderie that they all had together there. And I think if we listened to Poch and invested at that point in time, as opposed to going 2, 3 windows, whatever it was, without making any signings, he could have literally built that dynasty at that point. But kind of like once again, kind of we went probably for the cheaper option of not buying 3, 4 like players for Poch and just replacing the manager, which is the cheaper option every single
Yep.
time. We end up with the dross and kind of like gone downhill. Obviously, kind of Jose's kind of missing out 5 days before, because you ask anyone, absolutely anyone, if you had a one-off game in a final, who would you pick as your manager? He does what it takes.
Jose. Yeah, definitely. His final
No,
record
we'll
is not.
no, we'll
Is one
get
of
rid of
the.
him and bring Ryan Mason in.
Yeah, nobody would do that. Only at Spurs that takes place. But I like the point that you brought up about Poch, and recently that's another big news. Poch to Chelsea. JP, do you feel betrayed by Poch going to Chelsea? Are you the one of those who's calling, oh, Poch is Judas? Tell us about it, man.
It's not his fault, right? That our chairman didn't ask him.
Exactly,
It's not his fault our chairman didn't approach him. I would say the fact that from when he left PSG to now, he was probably waiting.
exactly. I think so too.
But I would also say I wouldn't want Poch back because he'll get treated in exactly the same way, right?
Like any other
There's
manager.
unless Poch was to say, you have to put something in my contract, you have to come out and tell the world that I have got full say, I have got carte blanche, I'm going to get this amount of money to spend on players that I pick and I choose, which Levy's not going to do that. There's no point bringing Poch back. So even at the time, I would welcome Poch back if Levy wasn't there.
Yep.
Right, with Levy there, I don't really want Poch back. If he goes to Chelsea, good luck to him. Boy's got to work. Not that he needs money to feed his kids, but he's got to make a living, right?
Yep.
And
Definitely.
if Chelsea are going to approach him and say, "Come and be our manager," if our director's not picking up the phone to him, he can't wait forever. What do we want him to do? Just hang about and not take any job?
Not doing anything.
While I do understand the whole Chelsea thing, and if it was me, I would probably go to a different club. Um,
Would
but
you?
maybe that he wants, he probably wants to rub Levy's nose in it because the project that they have there is probably appealing. They've just gone through and spent what, 500 million or something on a whole load of
Exactly.
young players, but also quality young players. And if
Yep.
there's a manager that can get them all knitted together and be able to win something, it's probably him.
Yep.
So
And
from his point of view, I see why he's gone there. From our fans' point of view, I can also see why, because next to Arsenal or even in place replacing Arsenal, they're probably our biggest rivalries.
yep.
Because
I
I absolutely hate Chelsea, and I live on this side of the water.
Poch would never come back to a limited budget club. That's why Levy didn't call him. I agree with you, bro, there, but that's not Poch's fault. I think that's Levy's
Mm,
fault. That's what I tell everybody when you say that. Okay, Poch would never want to come back because Levy would never give him this. Levy would never give him a call and all that. It's Levy's fault. It's nothing to do with Poch. If Poch were to be given a certain form of assurance that yes, something would be better than what he left, he would want to come back. In my opinion.
mm.
But
And
if
I
Levy is not giving him assurance, it's a Levy problem. It's not a Poch problem.
and I would say everyone's hatred towards Poch should be directed up there.
At Daniel Levy. And I personally feel that all those channels right now, all those journalists who are putting up this agenda of Poch being the Judas is a distraction tactic to just distract people right now from the anger that's being directed at Daniel Levy right now in the club. Because we all know Donna Cullen how good she is with pulling her PR tactics and all that. They are doing that right now. I mean, putting that anger towards Poch, going to Chelsea, calling him Judas, and making Daniel Levy look good. That Daniel Levy could have had him and all that. That's just BS, in my opinion. And like, see, mark my words, Poch to Chelsea is a banger of a signing. He will take. I completely agree with you, bro. Like his tool and his persona, he would take Chelsea there. But and by the way, I must say big up to JP for candid analysis without hate and agenda. Yeah, JP is one of the nicest guys in our Spurs YouTube community. I'll be
Mm.
honest. I've never seen him angry. By the way, I've hardly seen him even ranting. To be honest, I expect Pod to Chelsea. Exactly. I think they would be challenging for the title next season with the kind of youngsters that he has. Let's see. But now going back to the Brentford game, bro. Coming up this weekend, we are playing Brentford at one of the worst possible times we could be playing them because Brentford is a good team as well. Another one, and then Thomas Frank, they have done really well. Came from the second championship after 74 years or so, I guess, and
Hmm.
now they are already challenging for the. They were at a place they were already challenging for the European spots under Ryan Mason. What do you make of it? How do you think it would look like? How would it? How would the game would be? Ryan Mason versus Thomas Frank. In my opinion, Thomas Frank is one of the upcoming managers who is very good with his tactics, who's very good with his team selections, and he makes the best out of he make the best out of the current team that he has. I know a lot of people are saying that no, Tony is a huge boost for you guys. But by the way, guys, last week when they beat West Ham as
West
well,
Ham.
2-0, they didn't have Tony. They didn't have Tony. It was, I think, Wissa and it was Mbomo. What do you make of this game and what are you expecting from it?
Um, it's it's probably a game we'll win.
Are you
Um,
going for the game, by the way?
yeah, I'll be there.
Okay.
It's probably a game we'll win. My own heart and gut literally probably says to me, as much as I never want Spurs to lose, um, we've really got nothing to play for. I literally probably don't even want us to finish in Europe to have any European football. Um, because one, w- where we are right now, financially, it's if it hurts Levy, then that's what I want, right?
Yep.
Um, I don't want us to be playing Conference League football. It's worse enough with the team we've got now playing on it'll be Thursday, Sunday.
Exactly. And
If we are,
by the way, JP, just to add on, next
mm,
season, Conference League is not that bad as a league. You have teams like AC Milan who might be going to Conference League. You have teams like Ajax that might be going to Conference League. These big teams who were at once the title winners in their country, they are right now in the Conference League. That's how tough
I,
the competition has become.
nah, I mean, it's not the level of the competition that worries me or concerns me in any way whatsoever. It's more the fact that we are not a team. Hey, Gogama, we are not a team capable really of doing both, right?
Yeah,
If we're gonna have a reset, my preference for a reset would be whoever the manager is, whoever the director of football is give them a year to try and embed something in terms of a team, a collective, a style, and allow that to happen for a year. Play one game a week, stay on the training pitch, understand what's required with new, fresh players, as opposed to suddenly look. I'm not daft, and I don't think we're going to go out and get 11 players, right? And then suddenly, if you go and get 11 players, then you're going, okay, now I've got to play on a Thursday and I've got to play on a Sunday, and suddenly we'll flog those 11 players to death, right? We need to stop, reset. If we're going to do this properly, is have this gradual build up into something, and just
yeah.
if we were to say, which I know probably won't happen, is, do you know what, the under 18s did really well. If we qualify for that conference league, just give them that tournament,
They
because
might
that
do
will
better.
aid. Well, I mean, it's not only that, that will gain them valuable experience playing at a
Exactly.
top flight level in a competition. Even if you say there's your AC Milans and stuff in there, that will embed them and give us some sort of a platform to actually feed into this first team.
Yep.
But I honestly don't think we'll be able to handle Thursday and Sunday next year.
Yeah, it's going to
So
be tough. I mean,
personally, I'd rather not. So hand on heart, as much as I don't like to have Tottenham lose, I really want us to lose the next two games, because just there's no, I don't see any real point in it, to be honest. But
yeah,
knowing Tottenham the way I know Tottenham, will win tomorrow 2-0 or something like that.
home game. Yep. So what's gonna be your score predictions for this one?
2-0 Tottenham.
2-0 Tottenham. I suppose Harry Kane scoring one goal. The other one, who do you
I
expect
will.
from?
I should really say 2-1, because I'm sure we'll concede in the first 10 minutes, right? Again.
Yep.
Because
If Eric
literally,
Dyer
kind of,
plays,
while I was chatting to the boys the other day, I was like literally saying, from an away team or the opposition, the talk that they have in the dressing room just before the game literally has to be, you know what they're like. Go out and harass them straight away, straight from the kickoff. They normally concede within the first 10 minutes, have shots from everywhere, close them down as quickly as possible, and harass them.
and we will
It's
come
like
under pressure.
it's a simple team tactic against us, or a team talk against
Exactly.
us, right? It's it's not rocket science.
Yeah, Eugene say will beat Brentford 1-0. Tom Markkanen, yeah, Levy, don't forget a later latte Levy text. By the way, Levy has increased 1 horsepower membership for all the international fans. We
Mm,
are quite unhappy. From £50 to like 60 or pound, and you're a UK fan or somebody here who is sitting in UK, you may think that okay, it's just like £10, but imagine those countries where you're coming from. Let's say a country like India, a country like Pakistan, Sri Lanka, or that parts of the
Korea.
world, and that's a Korea, even Malaysia as well.
It's
It's
a
a
hell of a
huge
lot of
difference.
£10, isn't it?
Yeah, the £10 is quite a lot, guys. By the way, for those people, it's like for some people it may be, maybe the amount of school fee that in certain countries they are paying for their kids. Even like some African countries, it maybe like their monthly Wi-Fi bill or something like that. It's a lot for those people, and I don't want to disregard that. But that is a tactic. Like he has frozen the season ticket prices for next year, but this has gone up. And if you think about it, one hospital membership, there are more people than the season tickets. He's making more money still there. Like these are typical clever Levy
Mm.
tactics.
But the corporate membership or the corporate season tickets have also gone up.
Has also gone up. Oh, is it? Are you a corporate season ticket member?
No,
Oh, no. Okay. I don't think you pay Levy that much. The
no.
corporate season ticket has gone up. How much? Any idea?
I think that's probably a 5-6% or something like that. Like if not,
6%. It's a whole lot of money. I mean, like, but I guess it's also because the corporates don't mind paying that sort of that sort of a price, so they would rather go and enjoy whatever the party that they have in the corporate lounge and all that.
but
So
then, but then that's fine. And I think because like let's just say a corporate ticket's £5,000, if he puts 8%, 10% on that, um,
not much difference.
not
Yeah,
not much difference to them, but the volume of corporate tickets that they would sell, they probably get enough to cover the one membership and the overseas membership, right?
yeah,
So it's not like he has to extend that um,
yeah,
threshold to say, "Oh, do you know what? I'm doing a really good thing. I'm freezing season ticket holders, but I'm going to charge all the members around the world."
yeah. So
Doesn't make
he kind
sense.
of makes up for one side, kind of better on the other end. Yeah.
Hmm. But no, he has to leave. I think that's
Yes,
that's
he
that's
has
the
to
best
go. He has
situation
to
for
go.
everyone.
By the way, guys, there's a protest as well this Saturday, which will be Saturday for me, and I guess it's a Saturday for you guys as
Saturday,
well. Saturday evening,
Saturday
what time, guys?
from about 10 o'clock opposite the Spurs shop. Everyone who's there, everyone who wants to voice your opinion, everyone who's dissatisfied. You don't necessarily have to come and shout Levy out or anything like that. You don't have to sing songs or
Just go and say
anything.
hi to
All you have to
JP.
do is yeah, come and say hi to me. But all you have to do is come and stand across the road from the shop and just show the fact that we're together in the fact that we don't like what's happening to this football club right now.
Exactly. There's a big bunch of Malaysian supporters group who is going down this weekend for the Brentford game. I think some of them are already out there. Guys, if you see the JP there, please get in touch with him and
Come
do
and
the
say
protest,
hello.
guys. Yeah, go
Come and
and
say
say hello.
hello.
I think there's a bunch of them who have gone down, gone up this weekend just for the final game, home game for Brentford. I think some of them are good friends. If you guys are watching right now, go for the protest and say hi to JP, Stel, Iggy. They're all gonna be there, I suppose.
Yep,
And
Brian, Ryan,
get
everyone.
the purple and gold scarves this time from them rather than getting the
Where is
rather than
my?
getting the scarves from the Spurs shop.
I don't know where my scarf's gone. I think I've hidden it.
Yeah, I don't have a scarf either. I'm wearing a purple shirt to represent my
I
disappointment.
I do have a purple and gold
Yeah,
scarf.
I saw you wearing one the other day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
get
yeah.
that purple and gold scarf. Once Daniel Levy got, then we can show everybody. You see, we bought those scarves and then we got Levy out. If Levy ever goes out, that's like the souvenir. That is more. That can be said like the trophy of getting Levy out of the club.
Yep.
Getting Levy out is tougher than winning a trophy. By the way, I think, in my opinion,
But
he's
do you
just so
know what?
stubborn.
It starts off small, but everything starts off small.
Yep, exactly. The well beacon is important, I guess. You need to start well firstly, and if your stepping stones, I guess, the humble beginnings. I know I'm actually a theology student myself, and we sometimes discuss about this like growth and numbers and all that. Like, I mean, you look at all the religions as well. The way some of them started, they started with like two, three people, one person just coming up with an idea, and then now all of them are spread all over the world. And I think all these kind of movements also small, sometimes small, start very small, and then they grow up very
Hmm.
big. 40 people might be protesting today. Who knows that in few more months it may be 4,000 guys. So really, if you think that, oh, I'm somebody who what difference my one number would make, if everybody think like that, then there will be no difference. So if you want to make a difference, you be the difference yourself, guys. Seriously, make it.
100%. And as I said, you don't have to talk to us. You don't have to talk to anyone. But if you're frustrated, just come and make a number on the other side of the shop, on the
Yeah,
opposite side of the road, just to show your frustration. And if we get 1,000 people there, do you know what? Fabulous. There's 60,000 people that go to that ground, and
exactly, man.
I
62,000, right?
can't. Yeah, and then obviously away fans, but I can't imagine that 59,950 people are all happy with the way things are going right now.
Yep. Excuse me, my scarf is gold and royal purple. Yeah, it will do. Yeah, man.
Purple and
Seriously, this
gold.
this is another thing. Yeah, I think so since Step Up Spurs, there's quite a lot of you who are from this part of the world and who are going for the games, and I think quite a number of you like to go for the last game of the season, guys. If you guys can go and you are attending the home game, be there for the protest. Show your support for these people. Show your frustration towards Daniel Levy and get him out of this club.
But
I mean,
I
we are
mean,
all.
it's not even for us, Elias. It's more for them, right? Are they happy with the way the club's being run at the moment? Are
Exactly.
they happy with the style of football? Are they happy with giving Dyer a new contract?
No, they are
Are
not.
they happy that we're not going in for Poch? Are they happy with, there's all these things that they should be frustrated about. It's not about coming and helping us in any way whatsoever. It's about their
Yeah, but
frustrations as well
it
with
does
the way the
encourage,
club's
right, to see the
going.
numbers. It does
No,
encourage, right?
no,
So what I
no
mean,
one, no, I
encouragement,
know,
yeah.
but it like these folks should be doing it more for them and more for their love of the
Yeah.
club, as that's what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly, guys. Like, if you love the club, don't just moan and complain about it on Twitter, come in the comments and all that, which I know a lot of you come and like to do that. And it's fine as well. But yeah, if you can, if you're going for the game, take an action. And with that, guys, I think it's a wrap. Score prediction for this weekend, I guess you've already given us 2-1.
2
Uh,
nil.
2-0, sorry, 2-0, 2-0. And I guess 2-0 from me as well. For me, it's one goal from Kane and one goal from Son. We will win this game. Although I am a bit I'm a bit concerned, but I think yeah, it's a home game. We will be able to pull off the win. JP, let us know where can people find you. What's your Twitter? Where what's which
Uh,
will be the next show you'll be doing?
Twitter is JP_ECKA Spurs. And Tottenham away. We're around. Obviously, we have kind of we're actually doing some really good content at the moment. So we're Monday nights our
Almost
show.
every
Then
other
we've
day,
got
right?
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturdays we do a watch along. So I'll be at the ground. I'll definitely be at the protest. We'll do some videos
Will
from
you be
there,
doing a
some
protest
filming
live
from
stream this
there.
round?
Yeah, kind of like maybe kind of like depending on kind of timing wise and depending on what time we start the watch along. But there's a watch along as well. So Tottenham away. Iggy obviously does his morning videos on Tottenham away too.
Yep.
So go hit them up, guys. Hit that like,
Yeah,
hit that
man.
subscribe,
And
and
then
get our
I
numbers
I,
back
I
up.
am always there at the Rancho with Will on Saturday night this week. Yes, Saturday night.
Match days in the kind of evening and night for us, but
Yep.
it's a good
Yep,
time
it's
for him, and
it's
Will
the
Will
next morning for
shows.
me, but I won't be there this Sunday because I'm actually sorry, this Sunday mine and their Saturdays because I'm
Hmm.
away at uh Malacca. I don't know if anybody if you know Malacca is like a heritage kind of place in Malaysia. I'm going there for a trip with some of my friends. So
Oh,
I'll be
okay.
there over the weekend.
No,
I'll be
no,
catching up the
no,
I'll
no internet coverage.
uh
Keep your phone off.
no, yeah,
Don't
no,
worry about.
I won't be keeping my
Try
phone
not
off.
to think. Try not to think about football.
You know what? I was telling my friends, let's go and because they want to go and try some of the cocktails. They are telling them there's a bar that they have the Premier League
Nice.
coverage as well. Let's go and let's go and watch the game there. Then they were like, "Oh man, you really want to go and watch your club because they are Liverpool fans." So let's see how it goes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But also to everyone, make sure you hit that like and subscribe for Elias and
Yeah, yeah,
make his channel
we'll
grow.
talk to Stel. Yeah,
I'm always cracking jokes and stuff, not
yeah.
trouble.
I don't think you're a troll.
I'll have a chat, because I know I do recognise you from being on
Yep.
like there a lot.
Probably
So
sometimes it happens as a mistake as well. Is Tottenham away on tonight? Yes, I
look,
think they're on tonight. Friday live.
yep, we've got our Friday
Friday Night
live
Live.
later on tonight.
Yeah, what's the point?
Come
I've
and
seen him.
join
He's
in.
a, he's a good channel member. I can vouch for him as well.
Yeah. Um,
Tottenham
Uh,
away is live
uh,
tonight.
Tom's been look.
Yes, Tom's been to Malacca. Yep. So Malacca is like it's like the Portuguese settlement. It used to be a Portuguese settlement. It's on the south coast of Malaysia. I go there once in a while, but I usually go there for work. This time, my first time going there to just enjoy myself.
Good. Go enjoy yourself. So if you're going
Yeah,
there to enjoy yourself, leave the football alone.
leave the football alone and leave the Levy alone.
Yeah. There
Okay.
you go.
Thanks for joining us, JP. We'll
No
be
worries,
seeing
man.
you. We'll be catching up with you always in the chats, in the streams. And guys, I'll be going live. I won't be doing the step up showtime this week because, as I told you guys, I am not around. I'll be back next week with another stream, and let's see who I can get. Maybe I should try and get Stel for the next stream so I can fill my quota of having all the Tottenham away hosts for the Leeds, the final game of the season, and then we'll do a season wrap up. Actually, season wrap up, I'll do a big show. I'll have more guests, and then we'll discuss with them the whole season, and we'll go and rant, and we will cry, we will celebrate, and whatever. I don't think there's anything to celebrate, but yeah, we'll do whatever we can. But that's all from tonight. And big up to every single one of you in the chats. Big up to Goguma. Big up to What's the Point FC.
We'll
Big up
sort
to
you out.
Tom Markkanen. Big up to who else was there? Emma. Big up to Eugene. Big up to who else is there? Who else is there? Big up to myself. Big up to Minerals. And
Yahoo.
that's
Ricky
all we
Villa.
have. Yeah, Ricky Villa. And that's all I guess we have for today. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye for
Levy
now.
out.
As always, Levy out
Levy
and come
out.
on, you Spurs.